on. Orientation is locked horizontal this time. You're damn right it is. Oh, you're damn right. Hold on, unit. Let me just do two things here. I got to make sure subscribers are all 4 weeks plus, man. Got to make sure I have my true amplified unit up in here. So that is 4 weeks of subscription to chat in my chat. That's how we do that. Then we have to put in a description. There we go. Save that for all my replay unit. Those that are not able to catch this live on 0 minutes of notice, by the way. 0 minutes of notice. That's right. That's how we do things on the channel. That's good. And now let's see if we are live. Let's see if we're live. Is my coffee cold yet? First, I got to see if your guys' playback is good first. Oh, there's some advertisements. Hey! Here it is. Hey, I got some unit members up. Hey, Rob Reverne was in the last one, looking just right now. Rob, we did it, man. And listen, this is my fifth try trying to get this live stream up, man. I could not do a half an hour, 45 minutes, or an hour of that TikTok type version, man. Nah. Ain't happening, man. Connie Carroll, what up? Flip Flip. James Shrimp Fajitas. Stegmeister. What up, Stegmeister? Hopefully JR9 Gaming catches back with this, man. Oh, man. Just trying to go live. It's a good thing we don't go live too much on this channel. It's always an adventure, man. Nah, Rob Reverne. There ain't no stopping PC, man. Since I was popped out of the womb, it was just charge. Full throttle forward. Guys, this is on no minutes of notice. First of all, your playback is good. This is on no minutes of notice, so if you missed the live stream and you're part of the replay unit, well, you're part of the majority. I did not give any minutes of notice, all right? I've had a lot of issues with the tube still, especially the live streams. So what I did was I just went live. I just said, you know what? No notice. Now, if you're subscribed and notified, you would have gotten notified that we were live instantly. So that's why, I don't know how many times I got to say it, you can't just be subscribed, man. You gots to be notified. Being subscribed is half the battle. Unless you're notified, you don't know when BC does these pop-up live streams, man. And then everybody goes, BC, I didn't know you were live, man. Well, I barely knew I was. The way this platform works. What's up, guys? Monday Night Raw. It is what is it? September 16th, 2024 review. Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed stole this show easily. Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman. It's everything that I ask for in pro wrestling, right? I don't ask for much, to be honest. I ask you to present to me entertaining television. That's what it is at the end of the day, man. It's an entertaining, or it's supposed to be an entertaining show, right? It's entertainment. You're just the vehicle of professional wrestling. There's nothing like pro wrestling. So we tune in and we want to be entertained, man. What Braun and Bronson, that always messes me up. There's two. And now you got Braun Breaker. Imagine that as a triple threat. Braun Breaker, Braun Strowman, and Bronson. But what they did last night, guys, and we're going to get to it. This is just a little bit of a cold open before I get into this review. But what they did last night, it's like you put care into it, right? It's like, here's a crazy concept. They put together a television show, right? They put together a segment, or at least not the whole show. We already know how the first hour and a half went, but they put together some care into that segment, man. And that's all I can ask for. What they did with they planted the fan, what they did with the barricade, even though that's done all the time, the ropes, right? The first thing I thought of was ropes. Where we're going, we don't need no ropes. That was an old line from a movie called Back to the Future. Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. So that was the first thing I thought was, you know what? It's Braun and Bronson. The rope is down, or the top two ropes, whatever it was. The ropes are down. They don't need ropes. Just have them go to the outside, up the ramp, and have them cause havoc in the locker room, in the parking lot. We didn't necessarily get that. But damn, they were going through walls. Amplified unit. And this is for the replay unit as well, which would be the majority of you guys. But do you guys remember, it wasn't long ago, I just set up an angle. I forgot who it was. But I said they have to be in like Nick Aldis's or Adam Pearce's office, and there's this tussle, and they go through the wall. They literally, and it's a makeshift wall. They've done it before in pro wrestling, and you stunt it out, make sure nobody's actually getting hurt. It's basically a fake wall, right? It's a stunt wall, and you have the wrestlers go through it. I just mentioned that just a couple of weeks ago, tops. And they inserted it into this show. Now, I'm not going off and saying every creative writer is listening to BC, but I do know for a fact that a lot of people in that company and AEW, they do listen to BC, and I am extremely appreciative of that. So if they got that idea from BC to do this recently, them going through the wall, pretty damn cool. I ain't even mad. I want more of it. You have to get creative. You have to have fun with this, man. There's no reason why two wrestlers shouldn't be going through walls backstage. You got to believe that if two wrestlers have beef and they're in these tight corridors, they're going to go through a wall once in a while, right? I love that. So, pretty damn cool. They got sent through. We'll go over that, guys. It's just in the teaser, I'll tell you this. Braun and Bronson wrecked Raw, but it was a good wrecked. It was actually good. And I was with you guys live for the first 35 minutes of Raw last night. I couldn't believe how boring it was. I couldn't believe Hunter put that show together in the first 35 minutes. And when I left you guys, I said, I hope this show gets better, but that's not a good sign. The first 35, it was just CM Punk talking. Sheamus said some words. Then Petey Dunne beat him. And then we said, check you. We were rounding out the first hour. But guys, after the first hour and a half of boredom, of simplicity to a bad end, the show actually picked up big time in the second half. So I don't know if this was by design. Maybe they were trying to come in during halftime of the football game and try to keep people's interest there. I don't know. But the second half absolutely dwarfed the first half of Monday Night Raw. What else in the cold open? Iyo and Belair. Damn, man. Yeah, that was shades of what they did back in the black and gold days, right? That's like what they can do together. They just happen to go and do it together. I loved what Iyo and Bianca did. I don't know what Jey Uso was doing last night when he came to make the save. That was shades of Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. Do you guys remember when Jeff Hardy was coming out to make a save? I think it was to help his brother, Matt. And he's getting beat up. Matt is. So Jeff's music plays. And instead of running to the ring to help his brother, Jeff is up at the aisleway just jamming out to his theme song. He's like, he's jamming out. He forgot he has to go to the ring to help his brother out. Jey Uso last night, he's coming to the ring, right? Mommy's got her ass whooped. Damien's got his ass whooped. And JR9, it was Jeff's AEW debut. Okay, so that was what made it even funnier then. Is that it's Jeff Hardy's debut, and he's just jamming out to his song because he hasn't heard it in a while. His brother's getting his ass whooped. Man, dude, that was funny. Jey Uso last night comes to the ring, and he's slowly coming to the ring, right? Letting everyone yeet. And then he gets to ringside, and he just doesn't get in the ring. He's like sizing it up, and he's like, maybe I made the wrong choice. Maybe I'm going to go back to catering or something. I don't want to be out here. I'm turning around. He got to the apron, and he's like, he assessed the situation, and he realized he probably done messed up. So then Jey Uso was just kind of and then boom, Braun Breaker finally attacks him in a hoodie. So I don't know if Braun was just extremely late and Jey Uso just kind of had to like sit around there and kind of ponder like, what's my attack? There's a lot of you and only one of me. Then why did you come down the aisle if you didn't have a plan? That's some Jeff Hardy shit, right? Play my music. I'm going to help my brother. He goes out and he doesn't help his brother. I just want to jam out. Jey Uso goes to the ring to what? Check out Rhea Ripley's ass? I don't know what Jay was doing last night. We'll talk about that main event as well. Yeah, who said that? Justine. Jay said, deuces, ooses. I recalculated my decision, and I'm going to change my decision. I'm going to just go back to the back. Sorry, Damien. Sorry, Rhea. You guys can continue to whoop their asses. Jey Uso wanted none of it. What else in the cold open, guys? Sami Zayn's promo with Gunther. That was probably Ludwig's best promo. We'll get to that. Should we just get into it? Because I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. I'm extremely glad that I was able to get this live stream up. If you're just joining or the part of the replay unit later, I tried this about 5 times. One time I was able to go live, but I was in like a vertical format that they would not let me out of the tube. So I had to stop that stream and start this one. So it was another wild adventure of BC trying to go live. What can I say? Thank you, Justine, by the way. And JR9 Gaming, as I said, on the 21-month membership. And Rob Reverne, are you still up in the chat? How many months, man? I know you delivered that members chat in the stream we just put up about 10 minutes ago. But how many months are you over in gold card Statusville, man? Rob Reverne, just 3, Chief. Okay, Rob Reverne, keep rocking, brother. That gold card looking damn good, man. I appreciate the 3 months. Here's to another 3 months plus. And speaking of, before I get into this review, a shout out over to Josh C. 7-month channel membership. Salute. BC King for me. I appreciate that, Josh C. Punk's promo was good. The delivery was spot on. Plus, put the cell over. Hell in a Cell has been watered down in recent years. Punk teased the violence. I didn't like it at all, to be honest, Josh C. I thought it was such a downgrade. Maybe it's because we just witnessed a lot of it over in AEW. Punk just calling himself the devil. Punk saying there's going to be violence. Punk saying there's going to be blood. Man, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. I think because Drew McIntyre and Punk have been on such a good roll with their feud that I was really looking forward to the next chapter last night. And all I got was CM Punk calling himself the devil. Okay. Josh C., I understand, man. A lot of people are going to love the promo. I just didn't. It was a bunch of words. If this was any other wrestler, cool. Because it's CM Punk, it didn't fit. CM Punk is somebody who you just know he's kind of spinning off the top of his dome piece. He's hitting the bullet points, but he's hitting his bullet points, but he's hitting everything off the top of his dome piece. That promo last night sounded like a sheet of paper that one of the creative writers handed to him. That sounded like something that a wrestler is supposed to say to get the sell over. Punk should be somebody that doesn't need to get the sell over. Because it's Punk and Drew, you're sold. So all we need now is Punk to be Punk and Drew to show up last night. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But like JR9 Gaming said, once the move goes over to CW and you have Punk over there, what is that? The 1st, right? CM Punk is over on the 1st, I believe. That's the few days before Bad Blood. So Drew will definitely, hopefully before that too, man. Hopefully Monday. All right, let's get this going, man. Let's get Drew back there. Drew's already supposed to be coming back on Monday. Let's hope CM Punk is there as well, and we can pick up this storyline. Punk is on tonight and he's on tonight. So that's what you were saying, JR9. Punk is on tonight and the 1st. Oh, then maybe he's being used to hype up the CW debut and the CW debut. I get it. All right. Interesting for sure, man. So hopefully, yeah, Drew McIntyre. Maybe they were just saving it for tonight for Drew. We'll see. So that makes sense then. All right. Josh C with that $2 super chat. Josh C, appreciate you, man. And again, much respect for liking it. I know a lot of people really enjoyed that CM Punk promo. I just, the lack of Drew McIntyre, the talk of all the violence in AEW anyway. It's like, I don't really need that stuff to be sold, to be honest with you. I just need a good story, and so far Punk and Drew have that. To start Monday Night Raw with a 10-minute promo to try to pump up a gimmick match, I think we're beyond that with Punk and Drew. The story's been going on for months. We just saw him in a strap match. I don't need 10 minutes of Punk selling me on a match. I'm already sold. Just go and produce the violence. You don't need to be told about it. But I totally understand. A lot of people really liked it. Different side of Punk and all of that stuff. It's a side I don't need, though. It sounds like he was just rehearsing a lot of junk that somebody wrote on paper. But we'll see, man. Maybe tonight, Drew McIntyre shows up, sends him for a loop. Let's get into this review. Speaking of, CM Punk starts this show off. He has words for 10 minutes. There's no pyro. I don't know where the pyro is on these shows. What happened to Hunter Hearst Helmsley? Did Endeavor tell Hunter Helmsley that there is no more... You can't have any more pyro? Like seriously, did they tell him the budget does not call anymore for pyro? Because if that's the case, then not only do you have crappy theme intros, but now you have no pyro as well. Where's the excitement, man? Like, I would truly love to know where the excitement at the start of these shows is coming from. Like, does anybody... You guys do remember when we used to start Raw and there was this excitement, right? A really badass theme song, the pyro would go off, the camera angles to the fans being electric. Like, what happened to WWE RAW and Smack? Like, these shows just start average AF. Did you see SmackDown's finish, guys? Did you see how it said executive producers? Paul Levesque and somebody else. I think it was it was one of the EVPs, right? But they had executive producers. They're literally treating this like a television show, and that's it. And now, because they have a producer role, that's more money. So whatever agreement they have with the USA Network, Levesque and these other producers, they're going to cash in again. So Levesque is going to have 3 different paychecks. He's still listed as a talent. He is the head of creative, and he's a producer now, like an actual show producer. And when you have that producer title, you get another paycheck. So good for Levesque McMahon. He is cashing in big time, man. But what did they say about the pyro, man? When's the last time we had pyro, I would like to know. Yeah, James Shrimp Fajitas. That was Dave. What up, Dave? Up in here too, by the way. D-Money. A lot of my gold carders coming in now, man. A lot of my members. You guys don't want to know the issues we had with this live stream earlier, man. That's why we had to do a pop-up, no advance notice live stream. I'm just happy you guys were able to catch it. So anyway, guys, no pyro. CM Punk is out there for 10 minutes. He says a bunch of words. He sells the gimmick match of Hell in a Cell. No Drew McIntyre. That's it. We go to commercial. Dunne, or no, Sheamus then cuts a backstage promo for 3 minutes talking about how he's going to beat Pete Dunne and this, that, and the other thing. I don't know. I was live with you guys before that, or for the first half an hour of this show, and I got to tell you, man, this was so boring to start the show, man. No, I couldn't get hyped. CM Punk just talked for 10 minutes, then Sheamus for 3 minutes. And then we went into the first match of the night after 16 minutes. 16 minutes to get the opening bell. Pete Dunne defeats Sheamus. That was it. And then BC took off to do the notes for this review, and we were hoping the show got better, but it wouldn't be in that first hour. Nattie would be up next. Nattie versus Zoey Stark, and Nattie would pin Zoey. JR9, was that via a roll-up? I blinked and the match was over. But it looked like a stun victory, right? Like Zoey popped right up and she was angry that she got caught off guard. Was that a roll-up? Somebody confirm that. Or does anybody even know? Does anybody even care, man? Thanks for smashing that up too, guys. I know this is an odd pop-up stream, but it definitely helps the algorithm for the replay unit, and that's what we're going to be banking on for this stream. With all the technical difficulties we've had. It was a fruit roll-up. It was a fruit roll-up, but wait a second. Didn't Iyo and Belair end in a roll-up as well? So that's what I mean. Hunter Hearst Helmsley has to know his finishes. And if you've only got 2 female matches in the whole night, you got to make sure they don't end the same way. So that's the problem there. And you had Nattie pinning Zoey via fruit roll-up in less than 5 minutes. And again, I went to refill on some coffee, blinked, and that match was over. I got to see Nattie's Booyaka Booyakas. That was nice. It's always a good sight to see Nattie's Booyakas. Zelina Vega was looking hot AF. Valkyria was looking stunning last night. So I got to see 3 beyond sexy females. And that's where it ends, man. Because match-wise, I don't know how many people are getting excited over a 4.5-minute match with Nattie and Zoey, with a commercial in the middle, by the way. And Nattie rolling up Zoey Stark. That's right, fruity roll-up, man. Everybody just chucked the fruit at the screen after that matchup, but I hope you didn't chuck all your fruit, because later in the night, there was going to be another women's match with the same finish, another roll-up. At least this match was match of the night, for BC anyway. We'll get to that in a little bit. But that was your first hour. If you guys missed the show, no joke, this is the first hour. CM Punk spoke for 10 minutes trying to sell the Hell in a Cell gimmick match. Sheamus spoke for 3 minutes backstage about beating Pete Dunne. After 16 minutes of the show, we finally got the opening bell. Pete Dunne defeated Sheamus, so that was a waste of 3 minutes of Sheamus saying he's going to beat Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne just beat him. The whole match was him stomping Sheamus's fingers and them kicking each other in the face, basically. Pete Dunne pins Sheamus, and then Nattie pins Zoey in 4.5 minutes via fruit roll-up, and that is your first hour of Raw. So that's what I say when the ratings come in and football crushes WWE and everybody goes, well, WWE was never going to beat football, so of course they lost. Nobody's asking them to beat them up front. We're asking them to compete. If you're going against NFL football now, why would that be your first hour? Punk saying words, Sheamus says words, Pete Dunne beats Sheamus, and Nattie beats Zoey. That's interesting. Hour number 2 picked this show up, threw it on its back, picked up 2 cups of coffee, and trudged forward, because hour number 2 absolutely saved this show. And before I go to hour 2, I got to give a shout out over to Reese Monet, a channel member for 10 months strong. Raw was okay last night. The highlights for me were Braun and Bronson, Bianca and Iyo, and the Jay Braun Breaker segment. The rest of the show was boring. Yeah, the first hour, Reese, is what dragged this show in totality down. If that first hour was better, this would have been a decent Monday Night Raw. Again, hour 2 was the best hour. The top of hour 3, I thought, held on its own. So, yeah, I'm going to give you okay as well. I'm not going as far as good. Too many segments were not or should have been better. But, yeah, I'll give your word okay. I'm going to use the word decent. If just one more segment was better in hour 1, this would have been a damn decent show. Reese, to 10 months, let me give you a proper salute. Always love seeing Reese up in here, especially, man, so many gold cards up in here on such a, an odd live stream, man. Our 6th attempt, no notification. We just popped up. BC was like, oh, am I live? The YouTube machine was like, yes, you are. So at least I can count on my gold members being up in here, man. Ron C23. Ron C23, I don't know if you caught yesterday's upload. Not the half an hour Raw live stream last night. The upload hours beforehand. We had a good discussion on Charlie Flair, and it looks like she's going to come back for the Rumble, win that son bitch, and take on Nia Jax, Queen versus Queen at Mania. I hope that's not the case, Ron C23, but I know you're a damn big fan of Charlie, So I'll be happy for you, dude. With all the support that you throw to the channel, I'm at least going to be happy for you, Ron C23. That is a 20-month membership super chat, by the way. BC, I need my girl back ASAP. Shows might just pick up. Woo! How's that? Not too bad. I haven't done the Charlie in a while. Listen, I don't need her back because I just know it's going to be a lot of the same. She's going to come back. She's going to get thrusted right into a championship situation, or she'll win the Rumble or the Chamber. She'll have a title match at Mania. She'll win the championship. She'll be one away from her father. She'll collect her 15th and be right there at 16 with John Cena. She'll surpass Randy Orton. I already know how this is going, Ron C23. You're going to be happy, and I'll be happy for you, but I've seen this scenario play out so many times. I just hope they do something different. And different does not mean beating Tiffany Stratton for the Money in the Bank briefcase. Could you imagine if they put that stipulation up? If they brought her back before the Rumble, Survivor Series, Tiffany versus Charlie, winner gets the briefcase. I see this company doing shit like that. Ron C23. That was great, PC. My woo. Ron C23. I really just tap into the nature boy. Deshaun Sanders, amplified star unit member, by the way, which means over a year of membership to get that amplified star, and 16 months is the count on Deshaun. 16 months strong. What up, BC? The Braun and Bronson match / segment was hilarious, with Braun no-sell getting up and both crashing through the wall. There was a lot of no-selling in that whole segment / matchup, Deshaun. I'm willing to let it go, though, because damn, that was the best part of the night. It was easily the most entertaining. When I get to that, I'm going to tell you guys what it reminded me of, because it reminded me of something hilarious that a lot of us had when we were kids, probably. Deshaun Sanders, let me give you a proper salute, man. I appreciate you very much. I appreciate the support to the channel. 16 months strong with that membership. This is a salute to Deshaun Sanders. Should we go into hour number 2? So hour 1 failed miserably. Hour 1 was an epic fail. Can hour number 2 save this show? Hour number 2 says, appreciate that. Militant. Micah. GOAT status. Hey, that's a salute. Appreciate that. Hour number 2, New Day versus Balor and McDonald's of the Judgment Day. The tag titles were on the line here, guys. This was a mess. This was a mess. There was a lot of tornado rule going on without the actual tornado rules. Dominik Mysterio, Carlito, Liv Morgan, they were battling LWO at ringside. It was just so odd, right? Because you had the New Day facing Judgment Day, and LWO is out there. And it's like, are we just doing things just to do them? Now Xavier and Kofi had a badass, we're going to get to that in a second, a really good back and forth after the match, backstage. And it explained the LWO a little bit more. But at the time, I'm like, what are we doing, man? It's an absolute schmoz fest. A circus to the highest of levels. You have Judgment Day battling the LWO. At this point, it's like Hunter doesn't know what to do with Judgment Day, so they're just picking fights with like everybody and seeing where they want to go. Like backstage, they were trying to poke at Dragunov, LWO, the New Day, obviously Damien and Rhea. But this was just LWO battling Judgment Day, and I couldn't really keep track of the actual match. And by the time it was done, it wouldn't matter. Balor pins Woods, and Judgment Day retains the titles. I think we knew that was going to happen, right? There's no way Judgment Day should be losing those titles in the middle of a Monday Night Raw, because that's what this was, start of hour 2. The only thing of substance here is Woods telling Kofi he's had enough, and he leaves Kofi in the ring, and he just starts yelling, "I've had enough. I'm done with it." So even without an Odyssey Jones, it looked like they were still going to continue the tension and inevitable breakup between the two. So I like that. Stick with the story. Just exit out in Odyssey. We don't need Odyssey for them to break up. And then backstage, man, a great back and forth between Kofi and Xavier. Man, when they get serious, I say this about Miz, I say this about Matt Riddle, I say this about so many of these wrestlers. When they get serious, it is so good. Xavier yelling at Kofi Kingston. Why is the LWO here? Why were they in our match? That caused a distraction for me. I was not privy to that info. Kofi said, I'm the one who asked them to be there because I knew Balor and McDonald's was going to have their backup. So I asked the LWO. So Xavier looks right at Kofi and Xavier goes, think about that, Kofi. Think about that. I had no idea of our own plan. It's us. We're the New Day. I had no idea. You're bringing in Odyssey Jones? I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know an Odyssey Jones was in our locker room. You were going out for a title match? I had no idea LWO was coming to the ring. I have no idea what you're doing anymore, Kofi. Are we even a team? Like, legit showing his anger and just hitting his words beautifully to the point where Kofi didn't really have a response. He leaves Kofi, and Kofi is kind of there like, fuck, you bring up some valid points. It was really good, man. That was the... I just been waiting for something between Woods and Kofi because I know their talent, right? And we all remember Kofi Mania, so we know they can go from obscurity to main event in a snap of a finger, blink of an eye, drop of a hat. But man, the past several years, this is just redundancy with the New Day. And just putting Odyssey Jones with them probably made them worse. But last night, man, I was into that, man. Like when Woods was flipping out at ringside and then backstage, I love how they followed it up. Follow it up. Don't just do that and move on to the next. Go back to it. It's a 3-hour show. Every good storyline can only be good if you follow up with it several times throughout the show. It's got to be treated, unfortunately, but it's true. It's got to be treated kind of like a soap opera, where you kind of go back to the stories throughout the show. And you have 3 hours, man. So that one little go back to it backstage 2-minute promo with the LWO being yelled at by Xavier, Kofi backing him off, thanking the LWO for their services, Xavier being ripped, pissed off that he was the only one out of everybody that didn't know the plan. So, salute Kofi and Xavier. Hopefully this is the start of them captivating my interest going forward. Drag it out a little bit, but this heel turn should be special. We thought that with Otis and Gable, and it wasn't. Otis just gives a tiny shove to Gable, and that was the turn. Do you remember we were all like, damn, when Otis turns, it's going to be one of the biggest reactions of all time, man. It's going to be so beautiful because they were telling the story beautifully. How Alpha Academy or how Chad Gable was just like demeaning them and just ripping them apart and embarrassing them. And when Otis finally snaps, man, it's going to be a thing of beauty. No, he just shoved him and that was it. Chad Gable formed a new group, American Made, and they just had a feud with the Wyatt Six. And somehow, like, the Alpha Academy still feuded with them a little bit, like little tiny Raw feuds, you know what I mean? Like a secondary B-level feud. So hopefully this one goes off without a hitch, man. Hopefully this is told much better because what I saw last night with Xavier Woods and Kofi, more of that. That's why hour 2 started off really good and started to just turn the show around from hour 1's catastrophe. Now, could the next matchup keep that momentum going? Well, that was Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman. So Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman, they go. Hold on, Sue. Let me get on there. Hold on, unit. There we go. Set my notes up a little better there. Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman. This match was like a commercial for one of those kid rings. You guys know the toy wrestling rings we used to have back in the day? I think they still sell them today, and I think today they literally get destroyed. Like, you can, like, rip stairs off of them. You can take the ropes off easier. They probably have little contraptions where you can literally put a wrestler through the ring, like Mick Foley. But back in the day, we used to have the wrestling rings, and, you know, there was a parts of them, and you could take parts off. This Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman match, it reminded me of a kid's toy wrestling ring. Because the ropes are coming off, right? Strowman sends Bronson right into the chest first into the turnbuckle. Turnbuckle absolutely implodes. The ropes come off. To which, again, I'll give my Back to the Future line. Ropes? Where we're going, we don't need ropes. Because where Bronson and Braun were going, they did not need ropes, man. They took it to the outside and they never looked back. They never got back in the ring. They didn't need ropes. Again, that's Back to the Future. Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. Doc. One of the best characters in movie history, Doc. He's in my thumbnail, actually. You see Braun Strowman with the beat up, with all the ropes down, and that's Doc from Back to the Future. Anyway, man, the ropes are down, then they go to the outside, and they go through the barricade, right? So it's like the wrestling rings that they sell now for kids, where they come with the little, they have the whole barriers, the barricades, and they come apart. Like, you can send a wrestler through it, and they break apart. Like, everything was just breaking apart. So then they even went to a fan. I think it was Bronson Reed took a fan, chucked him from the front row, and it was a plant, not an actual fan, don't worry, and chucked the fan into Braun Strowman, I believe is what it was. And everybody was no-selling the shit. The only one that sold because he was probably really fucked up, landed on his dome piece, was the planted fan. But barricades are busted up, ropes are imploded, fans are being chucked into Braun Strowman. Then they carry it up to the electrical equipment next to the staging area, to which Braun Strowman sent Bronson. I'm going to get these Brauns all mixed up, man, and I got Braun Breaker coming up later. Braun sent Bronson into the electrical equipment. I got it. And then they went to the back. Braun Strowman flips over a golf cart. Literally takes a golf cart, just flips it over. I mean, we've seen him do that with ambulances in the past. So the golf cart is like a tire to this dude. Flips over the golf cart. They go through a wooden table. I think Braun was on it, and Bronson leaped off of some type of staging, jumped through the table and Braun. Then they both get up. Braun sends Bronson, both of them, through a wall. So it was a gimmick wall, a stunt wall. They go through that sumbitch. A bunch of, like, I don't even know what it was, man. Trash cans, chairs, pails dropped from high above. Like, things were up on the wall. And because the whole wall collapsed, everything that was up there, like attic style, everything fell. So, I mean, everything was just so well. Yeah, the camera went out as well, James Shrimp Fajitas, when they did. I think that was the golf cart spot. When he flipped the golf cart, the cameraman got taken out. So we kind of lost feed for a minute. But this is what I mean about, oh, damn, I just saw, man, my Green Bay Oakleys. Look at those, huh? These are official Green Bay Oakleys, guys. These are Green Bay Packer Oakleys. So about like what, I don't know, like 250, 300. But look at those Oakleys, man. They look good. That's their green, black, yellow series. I have a couple of Green Bay Oakleys. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I just saw my middle screen here, and I just realized the Oakleys are pretty prevalent. Damn. I collect Oakleys. It's what I do, man. I don't know why. I'm fascinated with Oakley sunglasses. Anyway, where was I? So I love how this was just so brilliantly put together. It takes care. It takes effort. You gotta love this. You have to love your work. If you're a creative writer, if you're Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and you have a 3-hour pro wrestling show, don't look at it as work. Look at it as fun. This should be a hobby for you, and you get paid as a bonus. You get to look at Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman, and say, hey, they have a match tonight. How can we get creative? BC has fun with that, man. Goosebumps. I start getting really creative. I start thinking about things you can do with those two giants, just like you did last night. Was it overbooked? Absolutely. Was it silly at times? Absolutely. Did I love every second of it? Absolutely. You guys want the truth? Because that's what I always give you here. You guys want the truth? Here you go. So, let me get a swig of coffee, because this is going to be an unpopular take. I get it. This is not what today's wrestling fan wants to hear. I get it. But I'm going to tell you it anyway, because it's the truth, and it lacks in today's wrestling, and we need more of it. The truth is, I will take what we saw with Braun and Bronson last night. I will take that over every David Meltzer 6-star match, every Ricochet flip and dive, doohickey, follow the wrestler doing all the destroyers and suicide dives. I will take what I saw last night, and I will take that over any banger, as the kids call it. I will take it every day of the week, twice on Sunday, 8 times a show, every single time, all the time. I will take what I saw last night between those two. That is what captivates BC. That is what is fun to BC. That's pro wrestling, man. I've said it a billion times on this channel. I could watch Hogan and Slaughter, not the best actual wrestlers that by today's standards, right? By what the wrestlers can do today. Or Warrior and Hogan, based on what the wrestlers can do. But I'll watch them punch each other and deliver leg drops all day long. I don't care. Do it up, because I know there's going to be an emotion attached to it. There's going to be emotion, and you're going to care about every punch that's thrown, every big boot, every leg drop, every press slam. I can watch 100 suicide dives today, 16 Canadian destroyers in one match, and I'd have no emotion to it. I'm so desensitized to it because I've seen it so many times. To me, you guys want the fucking truth? I'm giving it to you, man. For me, anyway. And I know I'm not the only one, though. But for me, every time I see a suicide dive, guys, they're risking their neck every time, their bodies, their careers, their livelihoods, and I don't even blink. I'm just like, oh, another suicide dive. Thanks for doing that for our entertainment. Stunad. Like, you don't gotta do that, bro. A body slam would have worked just as much. We don't need to see you, like everybody else, do a suicide dive or a moonsault. We get it. You're showing athleticism. Thank you. Can you find creative ways to do it that doesn't always have to be the same thing that every wrestler is doing? So, yeah, at times it was silly, Braun and Bronson, and you were going, come on, really? Or is the wall, that looked like a really flimsy wall. Of course, it was a gimmick wall. It was there just to get destroyed. I'm fine with that. It shows that the company cared. But too much focus these days, man. This is the truth. You don't want to hear it, some of you guys. I get it. In much respect if you don't want to hear it, right? It's your prerogative. It's what you like and don't. And a lot of fans today, they just want to see pure wrestling action. They just want to see wrestler A and wrestler B. They don't even care if there's a storyline. Just put on some good wrestling classic moves, man. Go in there and do badass sequences and flip and dive and make me go, whoa, and make me say, this is awesome. And then I want to see if Dave Meltzer gave it 7 stars or 8 stars. But the truth is, guys, that this is a lost art. Just caring about what you're doing with the planning of the match. And then actually captivating people. Too many matches today, man. They're all the fucking same. Everybody does wild shit. Nobody wants to sell anything anyway. That's why I'm like, if these two don't want to sell something, at least I believe it. They're behemoths. Right? It's probably going to take 10 tables for one of these dudes to stay down for 10 seconds. So, this is one of those situations last night where that's what a show is to me. That's what a pro wrestling show is, man. I don't care. I don't care at all if they can go in a 1 hour Iron Man match. I don't care if every wrestler can hang with Shawn Michaels in a wrestling ring or AJ Styles. I don't care if every wrestler can match the flips of a Ricochet or a Vikingo. I'm not saying they don't have their place and they won't entertain me at times. But what I saw last night is what we need more of. Plan these matches out better. For years, we get the bare minimum of simplicity, and all these matches end the same. Fruit roll-up or 50-50 booking, so we'll see the same match the next week, and the other guy who lost is gonna win next week. It's redundancy at its worst. But last night, man, that's how you elevate a feud. And what do I mean by elevate? Well, a few weeks ago, Bronson was jumping off a concrete barrier onto Braun, who was on top of a roof of a car. In a parking lot, Bronson went through the roof of a car. Where do you go from there? Right? Where do you go? Now, you can rest on that and go, we can't go any further, so now we're just going to have him do promos every week. Or you can say, well, let's push. Let's do more creative. Why not put even more creativity into it? Let's do more. Let's not rest on, wow, we did something really cool in the parking lot a few weeks ago with Bronson and Braun. Can't do any more than that. Everyone's going to remember that and love it, and we did our job. What if you kept building as the feud goes on? What a concept. So what did they do last night? They literally jimmy-rigged the ringside. They jimmy-rigged the staging area. They jimmy-rigged the backstage area. And it was like Wreck-It Ralph versus Wreck-It Ralph 2. It was like if they have those collapsible rings for kids, the toys in Target, right? And you're a parent and you buy your kid that for Christmas and they open it up and it's the ring and you can take things apart, right? You can drop the ropes, right? Maybe it's like a no DQ or something and the ropes, they got imploded. So now you could do what you saw on TV, right? You could take the steps off, it comes with a barricade and the barricade shatters, right? Maybe the ring set comes with a golf cart. You can chase people with it. You can flip the golf cart over. I can go on and on about it, guys, but this was so welcoming to BC. I wish I was live for that segment, and instead I was live for the first half an hour, which was the worst half an hour of the whole show. One of the worst half an hours in recent memory for Raw. And again, we have to get Pyro back. We have to get a better theme song. There's a lot that needs to be adjusted, and Hunter Hearst Helmsley has to get on it, but I was live with you guys for the first half an hour, which ended up being the worst. Hour 2 really started to save this. Xavier Woods and Kofi, just a really good performance. And then Bronson Reed and Braun just stole the freaking show. Now, where do you go from here is the question, right? So, BC, you did the parking lot thing, and Bronson went through the damn the roof of the car. Then you did everything got destroyed this week. Ringside, the ropes, the barricade, the steps, tables, golf carts, walls, LED boards, everything got destroyed. So now what? Well, take it to the actual street. Come on, take it to the actual street somehow. Pay a local business owner to wreck some stuff. I mean, this is what Vince used to do all the time back in the day. He would pay the owner of an establishment, and then he would pay damages afterwards. And they would go into bars and they would actually have like bar fights. They went to a supermarket once, spent thousands and thousands of dollars because Stone Cold Steve Austin and Booker T absolutely trashed a real supermarket. That's not a joke, guys. This was not a dummy market. It's what they call in the business a dummy market. It's just a set. This was a real supermarket. It got destroyed, and Vince was on the hook for thousands and thousands, and he paid it. He was like, whatever the damages are, you give me the bill, but I need this segment to go off. So you have them battle. I mean, you have them have a gimmicked window, right? You take out the real one, you put the fake window in, they go through an establishment window. I mean, these are things you should be doing on a television show, especially a professional wrestling television show. And I'm so glad that we're starting to see it. And if Hunter Hearst Helmsley continues that, salute to Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Because we need more of that. And you still get your good wrestling if a show is produced correctly. For instance, I think it was the third hour. I'll get to that in a few minutes. But Bianca Belair and Iyo. I don't know if you guys saw that match, but damn! That's what they used to do in NXT. That's what they're capable of. That's the magic when two wrestlers like that come together and they're given ample time and they don't feel like they got to overdo it. That's what two wrestlers like Iyo and Bianca can do. So you got the great wrestling as well. So that's my point, guys. A pro wrestling show should have a little bit of everything, right? That's whether you like him or not. Eric Bischoff had the formula. And he incorporated the luchadors into his WCW product. At the time, a lot of people scoffed at it. They said, well, Eric, what are you doing, bro? The luchadors are fun and stuff, but it doesn't fit the show at all. Everything else you're doing, there's no place for luchadors. It doesn't look right. It's weird. It's like going down the cereal aisle at a local supermarket and seeing furniture, right? So you got Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, you got the mini wheats, frosted mini wheats. We're not going stupid here, guys. Frosted mini wheats. Then all of a sudden you see a couch. Well, that's weird. Is that an edible couch made out of Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Right? The luchadors didn't fit there. But Bischoff knew. He saw what Paul Heyman was doing in ECW. Yes, Paul Heyman did it way before Bischoff. Even though it's Extreme Championship Wrestling and 98% of what you're going to see is Extreme, Paul Heyman knew you have to have a little something for everybody. And he brought in some luchadors. And he started having these wild matches you would never think you would see in Extreme Championship Wrestling. So Bischoff, and he just admitted this again the other day, by the way. So trust me, I can speak on this confidently. Eric Bischoff stole that idea from Paul Heyman, and he put the luchadors on his show. And it worked, guys. Even though at first it looked odd and it looked like it was misplaced, it worked. Because he knew you had to have a little bit of everything. So, that's when a show is good. I always tell you guys, man, when we review, I got it, these shows, we decide if they were good or not. Not if we liked it or not, right? My chat right now, Justine, JR9, Connie, Phenomenal, Darkman 060. You guys could have loved the show last night, right? And then other members like Eric Leno and Flip and James Shrimp Fajitas and Jasmine, they may have hated the show, right? That's preference. Liking a show and not liking a show is like liking a certain food and not liking food, right? Some people like licorice, some don't. Some people really enjoy seafood, some don't. Some people like steak that's well done. Some people don't like steak at all, or they want it rare, all pink inside. That's preference. When I review these shows, I don't care about preference. I even take my own opinion, I throw it to the wayside. We come to the conclusion if this was good or not. The only time a pro wrestling show is ever going to be good, always remember this, guys. The only time a pro wrestling show will ever be good is when they tapped into every area and aspect. When they had a little something of everything and it was pulled off correctly. So you have Iyo and Bianca doing what they did last night. In that style, in that manner, in that type of professional wrestling. Legit wrestling. Then you have a little bit about what Braun and Bronson did last night. Absolutely wrecking Monday Night Raw, literally and figuratively. Then you have Xavier Woods and Kofi, and that storyline just took on a whole new level of interest last night. Little things like that, they add up. Ludwig Keiser delivering a really good promo to Sami, which we'll get to in a minute. That when you start doing that consistently every week, guys, this is going to be a good show every week. That's what I always try to preach on the channel, man. A lot of people, if they come across the channel, they go, oh, BC, he's negative, man. He's just an asshole. He doesn't like anything on these shows. Why even watch? Has nothing to do with being negative. It has everything to do with a legit review show, which we're not going to bullshit. I refuse to bullshit my audience. I'm not going to do it just because some people get their feelings hurt or they're offended by the content. Ty Mellon or Ty Melamen. I got that, Ty. MD2O, JJ Bulldog, Rob Reverne. Everybody in this chat and everybody that's going to listen to this or watch this on the replay later. The thousands that'll catch this on the replay within the next 24 hours. I'm not going to bullshit them, man. I'm here to make, or at least to help pro wrestling be great again. Well, that's the winning formula. Tap into every aspect and scenario and make sure that it's all done correctly. And when you do that consistently, that becomes a trend. Then your audience is going to stop saying, hey, I can miss Raw this week because I know nothing's really going to happen. I'll just watch the highlights tomorrow. Or I'll just listen to BC's review. After a while, when you're consistent with a good show, you're going to start to see a lot more fans go, you know what? I got to put this remote down because I got to watch tonight. I can't just watch the highlights. I got to watch live. This is getting to be must-see TV. I can't just listen to BC's review. I will, but I can't just solely take BC's initial review and that's my only source. I got to watch this live. That's my side rant, man. I don't know how I got into that, but I think because hour number 2 was such a stark contrastment from hour 1, right? Hour 1 just lacked in so many areas. Hour 2 was really picking it up, and Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman put that whole show on their back at that point. Very good. I also will say, guys, but by the way, Bronson or Braun, who do you guys think has to come out of this feud on top? Chat, one name, Bronson or Braun, because somebody is going to have to be the ultimate loser here, and I don't see how Bronson can be, and I don't see how Braun Strowman can be. So they're going to have to be very careful on how they end this feud and who is the ultimate one on top. Braun, Bronson, Reed, Braun. Bronson. I'm seeing a lot of Bronson Reed. I mean, we have seen Braun Strowman get pushed 2 inches and then taken back a mile so many times, so it sucks. But I do have to agree, I think Braun Strowman can bounce back much easier than Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed has been booked horribly since he got to the main roster, right? And the whole thing was just wait, and when the time comes, we'll book you like a beast. Well, they finally did, but the problem with booking him so irrelevant and so mid for so long is it's still taking a lot of viewers, it's taking them a long time to even care about Bronson. You're still seeing it last night. A lot of fans are still not drawn to Bronson. And it's because they've seen him for so many months booked so average. And that was the problem with Solo Sikoa. Losing 41 matches in a row. And people went, BC, don't worry, man. When the time comes, he's going to be booked properly. The problem is, it's going to be too late. Your subconscious is taking inventories of these wins and losses, guys. The subconscious is telling you, whoa, Solo's a loser. And so then all of a sudden out of nowhere, he becomes the tribal chief and he's in there for the title against Cody in the main event of SummerSlam. A lot of fans were not buying it, guys. So because Bronson was booked so horribly for so long, I don't know how he can take the ultimate loss here to Braun Strowman. So yeah, man, I got to agree with the Bronson peeps in the chat. I think it's going to be a lot harder if he loses this Strowman feud. Where do you go from there? You've booked him so badly for so long. Then he's finally in a meaningful feud, talking like a badass, acting like a badass, and then all of a sudden he loses again. Then who are you going to go to after that, man? Do you just try to go back to The Miz? Because at least The Miz will lose. And don't forget, last week I think it was, they already set that up, right? They already planted seeds. Bronson Reed literally said last week to Miz, he said, after I'm done with Braun, I'm going back to you, Miz. So it could absolutely end up being Braun Strowman with the ultimate W. Anyway, guys, that needed a few extra minutes of time put into it because that was the best part of the night for BC, hands down. Bronson and Braun. Top rope implodes, barricade, cascades, a fan is thrown into Braun, golf carts are being flipped over. The catering table is destroyed. They both go through a gimmick wall backstage. It was wild, man. One of the best. It reminded me of Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey when they were all getting arrested. Yeah, at times you got to laugh at the circus of it. But looking back at it, it was like, all right, that was so fun though, man. There was so much thought put into it. It was wild. You couldn't look away. The remote had to be put down, man. There's even people that said they couldn't stand that segment, and they admitted they were like, of course I watched the whole thing. I had to see what was happening, man. It was wild. But I didn't like it, though, man. They could have booked Ronda better. And I was like, well, dude, that rating went up because you had to watch that. That was hour 2, basically. New Day lost to Judgment Day. Judgment Day keeps their titles. And then Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman go through a wall. They wreck Monday Night Raw. Then we went into hour number 3. This was Sami Zayn's promo. Get to that in a second. Hold on. Where's my chat go? There it is. All right, there it is. All right. Sami Zayn's promo. Sami talks his desire to become the heavyweight champion. Ludwig Keiser comes to the ring. And Ludwig cuts a really good promo, guys. This was the best that Ludwig has sounded, honestly. He looked so... He was so just relaxed in his delivery, and I think that was the best part of it. It didn't look like he was rushed. Didn't look like he was uncomfortable with it. He says, this is what Ludwig... This was a quote, guys. Ludwig says this to Sami Zayn. He says, WrestleMania was the greatest night of your career. For the first time, I saw your family looking up at you instead of looking down on you. He says, so Sami, take my advice. Miracles never happen twice. So take it, run with it, because you'll never get it again. It'll never happen again, is what he says. I was like, damn, dude. I don't care if that was written word for word and he just delivered it. He delivered it flawlessly. That was the best Ludwig has looked in a very long time. Best he sounded for sure. That was his best promo, hands down. And then Sami Zayn's response was just to try to drive a wedge between Sami and Gunther, right? So he's like, I don't need you to get a match with Gunther. And I'm pretty sure that Gunther doesn't need you as his mouthpiece. And he tries to act like Gunther is just using him, just like he did for Giovanni Vinci. And at what point are you going to just balls up and say, no, it's not happening. I'm done. So he tries to drive that wedge. Sure enough, Gunther does come down. Gunther's attention is on Ludwig, almost like those seeds of doubt were planted in Ludwig. So Gunther looks at Ludwig and says, before I get to you, Sami, is there something you want to say to me, to Ludwig? And Ludwig looks like he's going to haul off on Gunther verbally, right? Ludwig is like, yeah, now that you mention it, there's been something I've wanted to get off my chest for a long time. A long time. And Gunther's like, get shit. Come on, tell me. And boom, Sami Zayn gets dropped. It was so... Ludwig Keiser, that was his best performance on the roster yet. And I'm talking about his wrestling matches, and he's had some damn good wrestling matches. But the performance that I saw from Ludwig last night, every little detail was top-notch. And so they beat up Sami Zayn, and Gunther looks over Zayn and says, and just so you know, my answer is still no. I love how they're dragging that out. The answer is, and they've done this before with Sami. Hunter Hearst Helmsley always looks at Sami as the ultimate underdog because he's got those Daniel Bryan vibes, right? You could easily look at Sami Zayn and say, yep, that's the underdog. And every man's man who's being held down and doesn't get the opportunities or the chances. So you could easily see that with Samuel Zayn. So he says no. And this is what I mean about Ludwig's performance throughout in totality. Because even when he was about to leave, Sami grabs his leg. He won't let Ludwig leave. But Ludwig could have, right? Sami's basically knocked out, but somehow holding on to Ludwig. Ludwig could have just stomped his face with his shoe. That German shoe. But no. Instead, he looks at Gunther, and Gunther's telling him, come on, what are you doing? Just get out of the ring. Stop playing around. Keiser is looking at him like, do you believe this? This idiot. It's relentless. Yes, he's persistent, but he's a dumbass. And he's looking at Gunther just kind of smirking like, I'm just going to put some more boots to him if you don't mind. So he goes to try to do such, and Sami ends up back suplexing him. Gives him a German suplex, I believe, and he takes out Ludwig. And Ludwig's like trying to run for cover like, damn, where did that come from? And Gunther's looking at him like, you idiot. I told you to get out of the ring. I just thought all that was well done, man. And again, it stems from the performances. First, you get good material, and it's up to the performers to elevate that material. The material has to elevate the performer has to elevate the material. It works hand in hand. They go in lockstep. So, back to back to back segments that BC thought was really well done. Xavier and Kofi's tension, Bronson and Braun and everything that they did, they wrecked Raw. And then you went into the top of hour 3, Samuel, Zayn, Gunther, and Ludwig Keiser putting on really good performances, headlined, overshadowed by Ludwig's performance, no doubt. But, and then, by the way, after the German suplex, Sami hit Ludwig with a haluva kick, and I think that's when Ludwig finally started crawling, because he just got knocked out. Did they keep it going, guys? I think they did, because wasn't that Iyo and Bianca next? Guys, so 4 segments in a row, because then you went into Iyo Sky and Bianca Belair. This was match of the night for BC, easily. So Iyo Sky, Bianca Belair, solid match. Match of the night, as I said. Timeout, hold on. Timeout, I gotta give a salute. Who's this green box over here? That's a membership box. What is that? Let me put that a little bigger here, hold on. Dwayne Piazza, 19-month channel membership, amplified star status. 19 months. Dwayne, good to have you up in here, man. Did I miss anything? I didn't see Raw, but happy to see you, BC. Dwayne, I appreciate it. We are live, Dwayne. As far as did I miss anything, because you didn't see Raw. Actually, this doesn't always happen, but we're talking about 4 segments in a row that were actually very well done, even good. Back to back to back to back. Making Raw maybe a decent show last night. Hour 1 dragged it down so much that if a lot of people don't consider it decent, it's because of hour 1. But Dwayne Piazza, if you're limited on time, I'm not telling you to go back and watch these things. BC's review will do it justice. But if you have time, I would absolutely go back and check things out like Bronson and Braun Strowman's matchup. I think you'll be thoroughly entertained. They literally wrecked Monday Night Raw, literally and figuratively. I think you're really going to enjoy Iyo and Bianca's match, which I'm about to get to right now. I do think you're going to enjoy Ludwig's promo and the Sami Zayn Gunther face-off with Ludwig. Xavier in the promo we cut backstage with Kofi. So if you have time, I would say check those things out. Dwayne Piazza, appreciate you big time, man. Proper salute for Dwayne Piazza, 19 months strong. Salute. Dwayne Piazza. Appreciate it. Main event. No. Wait. I stopped the Iyo and Bianca review to give a shout out to my amplified unit member of 19 months. That's what happened. So back to Iyo and Bianca, solid match. Match of the night for BC. That's it. Match of the night. And that's different than what Braun and Bronson did, by the way, because I look at that in a different, I don't even consider that just a match. That was literally like the segment of the night. That was the best part of the show for me, Braun and Bronson. But for legit like a wrestling match, this was it, man. The ladies came through, and I had no doubt because these are 2 of the best females in professional wrestling. Iyo Sky and Bianca Belair. Some of you might not want to hear that about one of them or maybe both of them. But guys, I've been reviewing pro wrestling long enough. I've been in that ring. I got my boys and gals traveling the world in those rings. They are 2 of the best women's wrestlers on the planet right now. Iyo and Bianca, they just are, man. You don't have to like them. I hear you. Your prerogative. I happen to much respect them. I happen to like both of them, so it's good for BC. But they're 2 of the best wrestlers, man. You put them together, 9 out of 10 times, you're probably going to get magic. Last night, thankfully, was one of those 9 out of 10. Magic last night. Such a good matchup. I hate that it ended in a roll-up because it did, but I love how they set it up, and these two ladies made it look good. And for those that didn't see it, Belair nearly hits the KO. First of all, Belair had Iyo on the outside in a suplex position. This is no bullshit. This is what I mean, Dwayne Piazza, if you do have time later to check out some of the show. Check out this matchup. At the end of it, Belair has Iyo in a suplex position, and she's walking up the steps. Oh, that looks badass. That's my this is awesome. That's my this is awesome. What is that there? The little badges or the emojis? Dwayne Piazza. That is awesome. For you guys new to the channel, this is awesome. We always make fun of this. It's awesome. That is awesome, Dwayne. That's my special badges for my channel members. You guys are the only ones that have access to that. I love that. That looked really cool. I'm giving my review and I caught that in my peripheral. Where was I? Oh yeah. So Bianca has Iyo in a suplex position, walking up the steps. That is some damn strength. There's dudes that can't do that. There are dudes that could not pull that off. And then the end of the matchup is Belair about to hit KOD, spins Iyo upside down, but Iyo lands in like a roll-up position and is able to deliver a small package roll-up. And the way that it was pulled off, it was so flawless. And Iyo truly looked shocked. Bianca was literally furious that it ended like that. I usually cannot stand the roll-up. Maybe it's because the match was so good. Maybe it's because their performances were just second to none last night. Aside from Ludwig and Xavier Woods. And Bronson. And Strowman. Okay, there was a lot of good performances last night. But Bianca sold it so well. Iyo, this was match of the night, man. Even with the roll-up. And I don't like the fact that there was 2 women's matches last night only, and they both ended in a roll-up. You have to get more creative. One of these matches, Nattie and Zoey, or Iyo and Bianca, but one of them has to not be a roll-up. But I do love how Joe Tessitore, the new broadcaster, he lost his shit in this matchup, guys. And we finally found out what Joe Tessitore has in pro wrestling, man. Last night was his calling card, right? Did anybody actually catch the show last night, especially the end of this match? Because Joe Tessitore that was his Michael Cole moment. That was his Jim Ross moment, right? He hit a whole nother octane. He was out of his seat. He was amplified. That was the first time I saw or heard Joe Tessitore like that. So that was a glimpse of what this dude can do, and I liked it. I think we have something with Joe Tessitore, guys. I really do. I really do feel like Joe Tessitore can stay a long time if he wants to, because I think he's got what it takes after years of some just horrible broadcast. Unfortunately. Some like Kevin Patrick, who was a really good backstage interviewer, but he just sucked on commentary. He was never comfortable. He never got this commentary thing. Kevin Patrick, Adnan Virk, Jim Smith. I'm sure there was a couple of others. So many people tried to fill that seat and they just couldn't do it. Sadly, they sucked. Joe Tessitore, man. He's been showing me he's got the chops for it, but in this Iyo and Belair matchup, at the end of that match, when you heard Joe Tessitore's call, that was the moment where BC said, I think we got something. I think we got something, man. So good. And speaking of broadcast, I think I forgot to mention this, but after the whole Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed, Wreck-It Ralph situation going through the wall, Baron Corbin, man, bad news Barrett. Baron Corbin. I don't know why I said Baron Corbin, man. Is Baron Corbin still with the company? Bad news Wade Barrett. He says, we need 10 ambulances out here. Get us 10 ambulances. I'm like, oh, that is funny, bro. because these two are behemoths. So he's like, we need 10 ambulances. Somebody called 10 ambulances. I'm like, pretty much. Who the hell's getting Bronson Reed in one ambulance? And then we went into the main event. Damien Priest pins Dominik Mysterio via South of Heaven. A ton of interference in this match. Judgment Day attacks Priest post-match. Ripley also is taken out. Jey Uso slowly comes to the ring in no hurry. We talked about this in the cold open teaser. We talked about how Jey Uso's music hits. Here he comes. And he just he gets to the apron and he just has second thoughts. He's like, I shouldn't be here. I made a bad decision. I'm just going to go back to catering. He's looking in the ring as Damien's getting his ass whooped. Rhea's down and out. And he's just like, I really don't have a plan, guys. I'm really second guessing my decision right now. And it looks like maybe he was just waiting for Braun. Braun was off cue, I guess. Because then Braun finally gets there and Braun takes out Jason Uso. But it was a Jeff Hardy situation. The debut of Jeff Hardy in AEW. Matt Hardy's getting his ass kicked. The Hardy theme is blasting. And Jeff Hardy's just chilling out, dancing with fans, man, while his brother got his ass whooped. Jason Uso was watching his love, Rhea Ripley, and his new buddy Damien get their butts whooped. And then Braun Breaker kicks his ass. And that was a segment earlier too, guys, I forgot to go over. Braun Breaker and Jey Uso with an in-ring promo. It was really well done. Jey Uso is very believable with Braun Breaker. So they really gel. They work well off of one another. So that is something I forgot in this review. Braun Breaker, Jey Uso, face-to-face. There should not have been any physicality. Unfortunately, there was. Like, Braun took out JR9. How did it go? Did Braun take out Jey and then Jey got the upper hand? JR9, if you recall, can you put that in the chat? Because I forgot exactly the physicality, but I do know that I was against it. Unfortunately, they did it. It didn't do anything. Nobody was going, damn, did you see what happened afterwards? The talk is about the promo. And thank you guys, man. This live stream, this was our 6th attempt on 0 minutes of notice and 100+ on the ups. I appreciate you guys big time, man. Only you guys could pull something like that off. Over 100 on the ups, man. Badass. But isn't that the amplified unit? Appreciate that big time. So JR9, if you did see it. Oh, really? Oh, what was it? Spear? Connie, yeah, they have nothing for Dragunov. He was backstage last night getting harassed by the Judgment Day. That was it. So he lost a bunch, and now he's just backstage in nice suits. He can't even get airtime. He's just told, just wait. In the future, we'll give you a good push. So, yeah, Jey Uso slowly comes to the ring, gets taken out by Braun Breaker, and then the show ends with just Judgment Day as the heels standing tall. So there you go, man. And by the way, the Belair Iyo match, as much as I loved it, you guessed it, it's face versus face, right? Then why did you turn Damage Control faces by having Sonya's group take them out? Makes no sense. And now we're just watching Damage Control take on Jade and Bianca, one-on-ones, tag teams in the future. Then why turn them face by having Sonya's heel group attack? I hope that makes sense. So there's a lot of things that are still off that Hunter Hearst Helmsley has to correct, but I saw a lot of back-to-back-to-back-to-back decent to even good segments last night. That, if we can continue that, that is a massive step in the right direction, guys. And that's what I got for you. That is the Raw review. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Top guys, we are out. BC in the unit. Live. And the majority of you guys, the thousands that'll catch this now over the next 24 hours, salute. Appreciate you guys big time. We'll do this again in the near future. Salute. Thank you guys. Salute.